So sometimes I get this hypnagogic terror and I have auditory hallucinations as I'm falling asleep. Auditory hallucinations are mostly not a problem. It's not a big deal. It's normal. People have those. But I was having a clustering of them, like a lot of them, every night for an intense period. I was having them for maybe like 3 or 4 weeks. I would have 5 of these episodes every night. I'm trying to fall asleep and then I hear a noise that wakes me up. And sometimes the noise is pleasant, but sometimes it's scary. Just a couple times there were really loud noises, really loud, scary noises that were loud enough that it elevated my heart rate. And it was actually really unpleasant to hear such a loud noise. And it sounds real. You know, you're just laying there trying to fall asleep and there's a disturbance. It really feels like someone is maybe saying your name. I would hear someone calling my name while I'm falling asleep and then it wakes me back up. And those really loud noises, the loud ones, there's actually a name for that. It's called exploding head syndrome. When it's really loud and it scares you and it actually elevates your heart. Again, it's not dangerous except that you can imagine if you had those over and over again, you could become a little bit afraid to go to sleep. So I could see that's where it would be dangerous. And sometimes it's something really nice. There was this sort of angelic voice. The voice had so much dimensionality. I can't explain it. It was a musical voice. And I guess that's why I say angelic, because it was sort of otherworldly. And the voice said, well, you could always, and then I woke up. But I knew that she was going to say, you could always just walk away. And that was nice. It felt like a benevolent, kind voice. But another time I heard a really loud noise and it was like if you had a big metal door in a jail cell, just like slamming a big metal door shut. And that one actually scared me. And I woke up and my heart rate was a little bit elevated because it was a scary noise. It was very abrupt and woke me up suddenly. And then there's other weird hypnagogic things that happen that aren't really auditory hallucinations, but just extremely abstract kind of dreams. They're not exactly dreams because you're not really asleep yet, and you're also not really awake. And they're so abstract that they're really usually impossible to translate into words, but sometimes I try to translate them into words, but a lot of times it's not possible. And sometimes I have other weird hypnagogic things that it's not a noise, but it's just extremely abstract, but it's dread, it's terror, it's a hypnagogic terror, very uncomfortable, like a feeling of dread. So that's not fun. So anyway, I had a clustering of these auditory hallucinations for a few weeks, and I was having several of them every night when I tried to go to sleep, and it was really starting to annoy me because it kept waking me up over and over again, even though it was also an interesting experience. And then they kind of calmed down. I was talking about these hallucinations. I was telling my partner that I was having those. I was telling my mom, what do you think that is? Why are these suddenly occurring more? And then they just stopped and I couldn't figure out why. Or at least they didn't stop completely, but they really calmed down because I even had one last night, one that was not scary. It was just okay. So I was wondering why it stopped. And then I think I finally figured it out today. So it can be related to a vitamin deficiency. So it's related to B vitamin deficiency. And you know, there's a whole bunch of B vitamins and it's related to a few of them. And normally when you take a B supplement, it's like a multi-B supplement. Sometimes you might just go for cobalamin if that's the singular thing that's missing, but a lot of times you just take like a B complex supplement. And I did start taking that a few weeks ago, and I believe that's why the auditory hallucination stopped. Now, the reason that I started to take the B vitamin supplement is because something happened that really scared me. I was weed whacking out in my front yard in front of my little cottage office. And this is a really small job. It's a small area. It takes 8 to 12 minutes to weed whack this. Not a big deal. And the weed whacker I was using was a really lightweight cordless one that just runs on drill batteries. And this is such a pleasure to use because it's so lightweight compared to the older one that I used to use, which was a gas powered one, which was just really heavy and it was a pain in the ass to get it started because you had to pull the cord cord really fast to make it start. And just using it was heavier. So anyway, I was using the super lightweight one. It took me 8 to 12 minutes to do this job. And after I was done weed whacking, I had really bad essential tremors in my hands. And I've never experienced this before. I've done gardening. I've done hard work, worked with tools that are vibrating. I've done this weed whacking job many, many times, and I never had essential tremor, but it was really dramatic, like to hold a cup, or I was trying to hold a glass bowl and my hand was just shaking so much, both of my hands. And I thought, well, it has to be from the vibration of the weed whacking. You know, that's normal. If you weed whack all day, you might have a little nerve damage and it's hard to use your hands. But what I didn't understand was that this was such a short job. I've done this job many times and this has never, ever, ever happened before. And it really freaked me out because I know that if you drink too much, which I probably do, then it causes B vitamin deficiency and that can mess up your nervous system. I don't want to be one of those people with, the shakes because I drink too much alcohol. And I just thought this was like a warning sign. My nerves are delicate. A small weed whacking job can do this to me. And this lasted for 4 hours, by the way. I had a plan that day to glaze earrings, like these little tiny earrings, and applying the glaze with a paintbrush, and I couldn't do it. That's what I was going to do that day. And I couldn't do it because my hands weren't steady. It went away and it never happened again. But that day, I made the connection between the shaking and B vitamin deficiency. I identified that as the cause, and I went out and got a multi B vitamin supplement, started taking it right away, started drinking a lot less right away, and I'm doing pretty good now. Not perfect, but I've mostly not had anything to drink on most of the last however many days. I don't know. Like, I'm doing much better and taking these vitamins. But I just thought it was interesting how all that really was connected. And so I had the shaking that made me think maybe this is B vitamin deficiency. And then I had this clustering of auditory hallucinations. And I did some research, and that just kind of confirmed to me that, okay, yes, I probably do have a B vitamin deficiency. I mean, normally, if you drink as much as I drink, you will have depletion of B vitamins. So it's all connected. I thought that was interesting. The auditory hallucinations aren't exactly a dream thing, but it's related to sleep, and they do carry messages sometimes, the literal message of the auditory hallucination or other weird hypnagogic states. And I love those abstract hypnagogic states when they feel pleasant, but sometimes they don't feel pleasant. It feels like existential terror, and it's not fun. So anyway, that's just something cool that I discovered in my research. So if you have a lot of auditory hallucinations falling asleep and it's bothering you, look into B vitamin deficiency. Okay, bye.